Welcome to my guide to the 2019 Key Stage 2 Maths Paper 3 Reasoning Test. As always, what I'd recommend that you do is go away, give yourself 40 minutes to complete the test. The link to the test in the description so you can download and print it. Once the 40 minutes is up, come back, watch the video, see where you may have got the marks and also see where you may have gone wrong, so you've got something to work on for next time. Okay, number one, the original price of this car is £8,999 and there's now a sale on £1,100 off. What is the sale price of the car? This is just simple place value. Just look at the thousands column. You shouldn't need to do any working out. 1,000 is being subtracted and 100 is being subtracted. So we're going to take 1 from the thousands and 1 from the hundreds and leave the rest the same. So it would be 7,899. Number two, they've given us a number, 3,576,219. Which digit is in the 10,000s place? Again, this is just place value. You should know we have units here, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000 and millions. So which digit's in the 10,000s? It's this number here, it's 7. And round the number to the nearest million. So if we're rounding to the nearest million, we need to look in the millions column, that's this one here, and the column to the right. If this one's 5 or above, we move it up to the next million, and it is in this case. So we're going to move this number up 1 to 4 million. Make sure you get your zeros in there so the place value is correct. Number 3, Dev says, I had £10, I gave some money away. Which expression shows how much money Dev has left? A is the amount of money in pounds that Dev gave away. So we started with 10, so that should be the start of our expression, 10, and he's giving money away, so he's obviously losing money, he's subtracting money. So the one that would be correct is this one here, 10 minus A. Number 4, write these masses in order starting with the lightest. Again, this is just place value. The first few questions on the test tend to be place value. So looking at the numbers we've got here then, we have a couple that are over 1 kilogram and then we have a couple which are less than 1 kilogram. So we're going to have to choose between these two if we're starting with the lightest. So looking at what we've got, we have tenths and hundredths on this one here. We have 0.99, which is virtually 1 kilogram, very close to 1 kilogram. And this one here is 0.009, so that's 9 thousandths of a kilogram here. So that one is going to be the smallest. Therefore, it's going to be the lightest. Working up then, this would be the next one, 0.99, still less than 1 kilogram. And then we have 1.025. There's nothing in that tenths column there, so that one's going to be less than this one. 1.025, and finally 1.25 kilograms. Number 5, write the missing digits to make this addition correct. Okay, so looking at what we've got, we have a 3-digit number plus a 2-digit number will equal 200. Now, the numbers we've been given, we have 2 in the tens column on this first number here, and then we have a 2 in the units column. So we need to think, what do we need to put in this units column? So when we add 2 to it, we end up with a 0 at the end. So that's obviously going to be an 8, because 8 add 2 will make 10, which will give us a 0 on the end. So for now, we can leave that where it is. Likewise, we don't have any hundreds in this number here, so obviously if we put anything more than 1 in here, we're going to end up with a number that's bigger than 200. And if we put a 0 in there, again, we're not going to have enough to make 200, so that's got to be a 1. 128. Now we can do some quick maths. 128 plus something with a 2 on the end equals 200. You should be able to work out that this number here is 72, because if you add 72 and 28, you get to 100, which plus that 100 there gives us 200. Number 6, John buys 1 toy car and 1 pack of stickers. He pays with £10 note. How much change does he get? Very simple, this question. It is 2 marks, so we need to show our working out. We need to add £1.49, the price of a car, and £1.64, the price of stickers, and then we can work out how much change you get. So first step, add these up. £1.49 plus £1.64. Okay, we start with the furthest column along. 9 plus 4 is 13. We put the 3, carry the 1. 6 and 4 is 10, plus the 1 we carried is 11. So we put the 1 and carry the 10. 1 add 1 add 1 is 3. So the total cost is £3.13 to purchase these two things. Now we've got the total cost, we just need to do £10 subtract £3.13. And a quick way to do that in your head is do £10 minus 3, which would be £7, and then subtract 13p from £7. And you should know there are 100p in a pound. So in your head you should be able to do 100 minus 13, which is 87. So it would be £6.87. Number 7, this picture shows the masses of 8 kittens. What is the difference in mass between the heaviest and the lightest kitten? So first things first, we need to identify which one's the heaviest and which one is the lightest. So judging at the ones we've got, this one would definitely be the heaviest, 410 grams, and the lightest one looks to me like it's 255 grams. So all we need to do there is find the difference. So 410 subtract 255. And the answer to that is 155. Now don't worry if you can't do that in your head like I did. It's perfectly fine for you to do a written method as long as you come up with the right answer there of 155. And the second part of the question says the masses of the kittens are to be put in 4 groups. Write the missing numbers in the table. One has been done for you. So it looks like we're grouping the cats into their weights. So we have some columns here, 250 to 299 and so on. We've got to count how many kittens would fit into that category and put it in the column on the right. So starting at the top we have 250 to 299. We have 2 cats in that category, so we can put 2 there. Might be worth crossing them out if you want to. I'm not going to do it, but that's something you could do to avoid making mistakes. The next category, 300 to 349, we have 1, 2, 3 cats in that category. 350 to 399, we have 1, 2, just 2 in that one. And there's 1 that's been done for. So we just need to add up, does this total equal 8? Because there's 8 cats in total. 2 add 2 is 4, add 3 is 7, add 1 is 8. So we've got them all. Number 8, Ken is playing a game. He has 4,289 points. Then he scores another 355. But his target is 6,000 points. So how many more does he need? So first of all, we need to work out how many has he got all together. We've been told he had 4,289 to start with. Let's write that down. Plus an additional 355 he's just scored. So let's add those together. 9 add 5 is 14. Put the 4, carry the 1. 8 add 5 is 13. Add 1 is 14 again. Put the 4, carry the 1. 2 add 3, add 1 is 6. 4 add nothing is 4. So that's how many points he's got in total. 4,644. Now he needs to get 6,000, so we need to find the difference. It would be 6,000 subtract 4,644. Okay, working this out, we can't do 0 take away 4. We can't borrow from any of these numbers, so we're going to have to borrow from here. Take 1 away, that becomes a 5. That's now a 10. We're going to borrow from that as well, so that's now a 9. Same again, borrow from that. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 4 is 5. 9 minus 6 is 3, and 5 minus 4 is 1. So he needs an additional 1,356 points to reach his target. So that is your answer there. Number 9, the pictogram shows the number of satellites above the Earth in 2016. We've been told that one of these circles represents 1,000 satellites. So we have 2 of those, so that's 2,000 in total. And we've been given a quarter of one here. So we need to find a quarter of 1,000. And all you need to do is half it and half it again, which would be 250. So 1,000, 2,000 plus 250 is 2,250 satellites. Number 10, there is a grid with 3 points that have been joined with 2 lines. Lara plots another point on the grid at -1, 2. She joins the points to make a quadrilateral. Complete Lara's quadrilateral. It says use a ruler, and as always, I would definitely recommend you do that, but because I'm on the computer, I can't do that, so I will do my best to make it look as neat as possible. So plotting the point then, we have to start with the x-axis, that's -1, so the x-axis is this horizontal one here, as you can see. So we're going to go to -1, and we're going up 2, because that's the y-axis, so our coordinate is here. Now it says join up the points, and obviously you're going to use a ruler for this, but it should look roughly like that. And lastly, Lara then translates the quadrilateral 4 squares to the right. Draw the quadrilateral in its new position. So what I recommend doing with questions like this is getting the key corner points, such as these ones, and we're going to move them all 4 spaces to the right and just put a dot. So this one here would now be 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be here. This one here is 1, 2 away, so that one would be here. This one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be there. And lastly, this one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be there. And all you need to do again is use a ruler to join those up. So it will look something roughly like that, but obviously a lot neater. Number 11, we've been given 5 numbers. Write each number on the correct cards. The number 2 has been written on the correct cards for you. Basically, we've got to put these numbers in, and if they fit one of these rules, such as is it a prime number, is it a factor of 12 or 15, then we put it on the card depending on which ones are correct. So looking at number 3, number 3 is a prime number. It is a factor of 12 because if we're counting up in threes, your 3 times table includes 12, so it's in that one as well. And it's also a factor of 15 because if you count up in threes, 15 is in the 3 times table, so therefore it's a factor of 15 as well. Number 4 then, number 4 is not a prime number because it's in the 2 times table. It is a factor of 12, 12 is in the 4 times table, it's not a factor of 15. Number 5, 5 is a prime number. It's not a factor of 12. 12 is not in the 5 times table, but it is a factor of 15. And lastly, 6. 6 isn't a prime number. It is a factor of 12 because 12 is in the 6 times table, but it's not a factor of 15. So your answers should look like this. Number 12, Amina's bed is 190 centimetres in length and 91 centimetres in width. She's making a 1/10 scale model of the bed. What are the length and width of Amina's model? Okay, all we need to do for this is to divide the length and the width by 10 because this model is 1/10 the size. We just need to divide it by 10. So 190 divided by 10 is 19, and 91 centimetres divided by 10 is 9.1 centimetres, so that's your answer. Number 13, Kirsty says when you double the size of an acute angle, you always get an obtuse angle. Explain why Kirsty is not correct. So for this, what you need to remember is an acute angle is less than 90 degrees, and an obtuse angle is between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Now, the reason why Kirsty is not correct is an acute angle can be anything from 0 to 90. So if you have a degree angle of 2 degrees, if you double that, it'll only be 4 degrees, so it still won't be anywhere near above 90. All you need to do to answer this question correctly is to explain that if the number is less than 45 degrees and you double it, it still won't be an obtuse angle because all obtuse angles are above 90 and less than 180. Number 14, how many days are there in September, October and November altogether? Now, a good way to remember this is if you know the rhyme, 30 days has September, April, June and November. All the rest have 31 and so on. That's a good way of remembering. 30 days has September, so just make a note, 30. April, June and November. November is also 30. And all the rest except February have 31. So that one, October, must be 31. You should know that anyway because 31st of October is Halloween. So add those three together. 30 and 30 add 31 is 91 days. Number 15, the International Space Station orbits the Earth at a height of 250 miles. What is the height of the International Space Station in kilometres? So we've been told that 5 miles is the same as 8 kilometres. So if we can find out how many 5 miles there are in 250 miles, then we should be able to work out how many kilometres we've got. So what we need to do is divide 250 by 5. You should know that 250 divided by 5 is 50. That means we have 50 lots of 5 miles, which means we also have 50 lots of 8 kilometres. So 50 times 8 is 400, so it is 400 kilometres above the Earth. Number 16, Jack buys 1.5 kilos of potatoes and half kilos of carrots. How much change does he get from £5? So looking at what we've been given, we know that potatoes cost £1.50 for every kilogram. So if Jack wants to buy 1.5 kilograms, he's going to have to buy £1.50's worth and then another half. So what's half of £1.50? You should know that that is 75p. I'm going to put 75p equals half a kilo. So therefore, 1.5 kilos is £1.50 plus 75p, which equals £2.25. So that's just for the potatoes, 1.5 kilograms. And he buys half a kilogram of carrots. So if they're £1.80 for a kilogram, half of that would be 90p. So 90p for the carrots and £2.25 for the potatoes. So in total, he's spent £3 and 15 pence. But he's paid with a £5 note, so £5 subtract £3.15 should be £1.85 pence. Number 17, x and y are whole numbers less than 10. What could x and y be? You should have a few options for this one. So all you need to do is plug some numbers in and see if they equal 20. So let's start with y equaling 5. 2 lots of y make 10, and we'd need x to be 10, but the numbers are supposed to be less than 10, so we're going to need a number bigger than 5 for y. So let's try 6. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 8 in this case would be 20, so we could use that. That works. Y will be 6, because 6 times 2 is 12, and then we need 8 more. X could be 8. Now you can also get different answers as long as your two numbers are less than 10, and when you do the formula correctly, as in you do the multiplication first, and then you add the x at the end, as long as that equals 20, your answers are correct. Okay, number 18, tick the fractions less than 5/8. All you need to do here to be doubly sure is to convert all these fractions on the left to eighths. And that's pretty easy because all the examples they've given us are factors or multiples of 8, so that's very handy. In order to turn halves into eighths, we would times it by 4. That would be 4/8. So 4/8 is less than 5/8, so that one's correct. 2/8 is obviously less than 5/8 because we've got only 2 sections, whereas we've got 5 here, so that one's less 2. 3/4, if we times the top and the bottom by 2 to get eighths, we get 6/8, so that one's not less than 5/8. And in this case as well, if we're going to get eighths, we would divide the top and the bottom by 2. So we've got effectively 3.5/8, and even if that was 4/8, that's still less than 5/8, so we've got even less than that, so that one is less. And lastly, this one, we would divide the top and the bottom by 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6, and 32 divided by 4 is 8, so that's 6/8 equivalent. That one's not less than 5/8, so it's these three here that you need. Number 19 is a 3-mark question, so there's lots of working out that needs to be done for this one. Layla makes jewellery to sell at school fair. Each bracelet has 53 beads. She makes 68 bracelets. Each necklace has 105 beads. She makes 34 necklaces. How many beads does Layla use all together? Right, so in this case we've got some multiplication to do. So every bracelet that she makes needs 53 beads, but she's made 68. So what we need to do is 68 multiplied by 53 to get the number of beads for all these bracelets. So what we need to do here is 3 times 8 is 24, put the 4, carry the 2, 3 times 6 is 18, plus the 2 is 204. Now we're onto this column here, we put our placeholder, 5 times 8 is 40, put the 0, cross that out, carry the 4, 5 times 6 is 30, plus the 4 is 34. So we can add these together now. 4 add nothing is 4, nothing add nothing is nothing. 2 add 4 is 6, and 3 add nothing is 3. So in order to make each bracelet, she's going to need 3,604 beads in total to make all these bracelets. And lastly, in order to make all these necklaces, she's going to need 105 beads per necklace, but she's making 34. So we need to do 105 multiplied by 34. Same thing again, 5 times 4 is 20, put the 0, carry the 2, 4 times 0 is 0, plus the 2 is 2, 4 times 1 is 4. Moving on to this column, we put our placeholder. 3 times 5 is 15. Put the 5, carry the 1. 3 times nothing is nothing, plus the 1 is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. We add these answers together. Nothing, 7, 5, and 3. That's how many beads Layla needs to make all these necklaces. So in total, she needs 3,604 for the bracelets, 3,570 for the necklaces, but she's made both of these, so we need to add these together finally. So all we need to do is column addition, 3,604 plus 3,570. 4 add nothing is 4, nothing add 7 is 7, 6 add 5 is 11, put the 1, carry the 1, 3 add 3 is 6, add 1 is 7. So in total she needs 7,174 beads to make all these bracelets and necklaces. Number 20, Adam is making booklets. Each booklet must have 34 sheets of paper. He has 2 packets of paper, and there are 500 sheets of paper in each packet. So how many complete booklets can Adam make from his 2 packets of paper? So first of all, we need to work out how many sheets of paper he has in total, and we've been told that he has 2 packs of 500. So 500 times 2, he's got 1,000 sheets of paper in total. But for every booklet he makes, he needs 34. So what we're going to need to work out is how many 34s can we fit into 1,000 completely. So to do that, we need 1,000 divided by 34. So how many 34s go into 1 is 0. How many 34s go into 10 is also 0. How many 34s go into 100? Well, in order to work that out, we should do some multiples here. 34, 68, 102. So how many fit into 100? It would be 1, 2. Remainder, 32. So how many 34s fit into 320? Well, we're going to have to continue with these multiples here. Okay, so I've carried on with the multiples. I've gone 34, 68, carried on going, each time adding 34, and I've arrived at a number now that's more than 320. I've got to 340. So the question has asked us, how many complete booklets can Adam make? So if we count up in 34s, he can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He can't do any more than that. He can't go up to 10 because he won't have enough paper. So in this case it will be 9. There will be 9 lots of 34 in 320. So the total number of booklets he can make is 29. He can't make 30 because he just won't have enough paper in total. So the maximum he can make is 29. Number 21. ABDE is a rectangle on the coordinate axes. The sides of the rectangle are parallel to the axes. Point C is the centre of the rectangle. What are the coordinates of point B and D? So this question looks quite confusing, and because there's no increments on the x or the y axis, it can catch a lot of people out. However, if you think about this carefully, we've been given the coordinates for point A, 25, 30, and we've been told that point C is the centre of the rectangle. That means it's exactly halfway between A and B, is exactly halfway between B and D, and E and D, and A and E. It's the centre point of all these lines. So if you think about this then, we've been given the coordinates for point C. We know it's 40, 22. Because this is halfway between this point and this point, let's look at the x-axis, this one across. The x-axis for A, the x-point, is 25, and this one is 40. Well, this whole length here, this halfway point, is 15. And the reason that I've got to that answer is because that if we're starting at 25 and we keep going until we get to 40, which is this x point, then that takes 15 steps. And because we know that's the halfway point, that means then it must take another 15 to get to B. So an additional 15 points on the x-axis would be 40 plus 15, which would be 55. So our x point of B is 55. Now, in order to find the y point of B, we need to do the other way around. We have the height of A, which is 30, and we have the height of C, which is 22. So it's gone down 8 points. And because again this is the halfway point, then we know that it's another 8 to come down here, and it's 8 to come up from this point here. 22 plus 8 makes 30. So the coordinates for B are 55 and 30. And to find the point D, we know the x point is 55. It's exactly the same distance away from 0. So this is D would be 55. We don't know the height of D. We do know that it's 8 points down from this one here, which was 22. So 22 subtract 8 is 14. So our point for D would be 55 on the x-axis and 14 on the y-axis. Number 22, 6 identical right-angled triangles are arranged to make a rectangle. Calculate the length of the rectangle. In order to find the full length of the rectangle, we're going to need to know the length of this bit of the triangle here and the base of this triangle, because if we add this and this, we'll get our full length here. Now we already know the size of this one because we've been given 2 of those make 7. So this bottom bit here should be 3.5. And we also know the width of this one because this length is exactly the same as this length, which we've been told is 7. So if this is 7, this must also be 7. So our entire length of the rectangle is 7 plus 3.5, which is 10.5. Number 23, the distance from point P to point R is 800 meters. The distance from point P to point Q is 4 times the distance from point Q to point R. Olivia says it's 600 meters from point P to point Q and explain why she is not correct. It's only 1 mark this question, so I wouldn't go into a huge amount of detail trying to work out the distance between Q and R, etc., and P and Q. What you need to do is take the information you've been given. Olivia says it's 600 meters from point P to Q, but we've been told that from point P to Q, it's 4 times the distance of Q to R. So that would mean then, if we divide 600 by 4, that should give us our distance from Q to R. So 600 divided by 4 equals 150. So that would mean, if Olivia was correct, the distance from Q to R is 150 meters, and that just can't be right if what she said is 600 meters, because if this is 600 meters and this is 150 meters, then the whole length would be 750 meters. But we've been told it's 800 meters. So in order to prove that this is wrong, we've been told it's 800. Olivia says it's 600 plus 150, but that equals 750. 750 less than 800. If you found that video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I really appreciate that and it really helps me out. Hopefully you did really well on that test. However, if you found it difficult and there's some areas that you need to work on, have a look at my channel. I've got loads of tutorial videos to help you, and if you go away and learn that, hopefully next time you'll do even better. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.